Hare Krishna. Welcome you all to the last day of Gita Mahatmya session. So, before we begin our session, let me offer our prayers to the Guru Parampara, coming down till Srila Prabhupada, through whom we received this wonderful knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So, we learnt how important it is to study Bhagavad Gita through the Guru Parampara. So, we will offer our prayers to them, praying to them so that we are able to understand this Bhagavad Gita completely. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangun Langayate Girimatripadamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So yesterday we had the session where we saw the sixth verse of Gita Mahatmya spoken by Sripad Adi Sankaracharya. So Adi Sankaracharya was comparing this Bhagavad Gita to a tasty milk which was extracted by the Supreme Lord himself as a cowherd boy, and it was given first to Arjuna, being the calf of the cow, and then whatever was remaining, the milk can be distributed to all the living entities, irrespective of what the background of that living entity is. So the only restriction as such is that the living entity has to be a human being, because human being can understand Bhagavad Gita. Other living entities unfortunately couldn't. Right? So if you are a human being, it doesn't matter what your background is, whether you are from America, China, Russia, or India, or from a different planet, you will be able to understand, internalize, and practice Bhagavad Gita. Right? So this is for humankind in general, not specific to any particular religion. And we also saw how so just by studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become a Dvija, or twice born. Right? So what do you mean by somebody being twice born? The first birth comes out of his own parent. Right? So mother and father, they give birth to a child. But at that point, we are in complete ignorance. So we don't know what is right and what is wrong as per the scriptures. The moment we start take association of the scriptures, so that's when we get enlightened and we actually take our second birth. Then we become Dvija, or twice born. Right? So we will continue in our journey. So this will be the seventh session, or the seventh verse rather, we are going to see today. I will share my screen. Okay, so hope you all can see my screen.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, we can see.
Thank you. Thank you. So welcome to this seventh day of Gita Mahatmya course. And we'll pray to Shri Radha Krishna, as always, that without their mercy, we will not be able to understand these Vedic scriptures at all. So even to understand and practice Bhagavad Gita, we need the mercy of the Lordship. So we'll pray them by loudly chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Krishna Lalita Vishaka ki jai. So we will jump into the Gita Mahatmya, verse number 7. As always, I will recite the verse and you can recite as well, keeping yourself on mute. So this is a very important verse coming from the 7th verse of Gita Mahatmya. This is like epitome of all the 7 verses, you can say. Very categorically, Adi Sankaracharya is saying, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam, Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva, Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva, Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani, Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani, Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva, Karmapi Tasya Devasya Seva, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam, Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva, Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani, Karmapyekam Tasya Devasya Seva. One of you can read the translation? Yes, Lakshmi Venkat.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat pranams to all the devotees. Let there be one scripture only, one common scripture for the whole world, Bhagavad Gita. Let there be one God for the whole world, Sri Krishna, and one hymn, one mantra, one prayer, the chanting of his name, and let there be one work only, the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you, Mataji. So such an emphatic statement, isn't it? So there need not be any confusion at all. Let there be only one scripture only, which is nothing but the Bhagavad Gita. So that we have been seeing all along throughout the previous verses as well. The next statement is even more emphatic. Let there be one God for the whole world, Sri Krishna. Yesterday we saw why the Supreme Lord has to be called as Krishna. Why not by any other name? Right? So we saw how the name Krishna symbolizes the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the very word Krishna means all attractive. So the Supreme Lord means he has to be attracting everyone. Right? So the name Krishna, the meaning of that word Krishna means that he is all attractive. So that is something which goes well to the Supreme Lord. So that's why we call him as Krishna. And so let there be one hymn, one mantra, one prayer. What is that prayer? Chanting of his holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Right? So these days there are so many mantras, so many sahasranamas. So all these are there because it's like a big marketplace. You go to a market and you get n number of goodies, so you can buy anything. Unfortunately, scriptural practices or spiritual practices is not like that. You need to be one-pointedly focused. In Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord Krishna is saying, Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana. So you should not have bahusaka, which means multifolded intelligence. So today I will go to Ma Durga, tomorrow I will go to Vinayaga, so the next day I will go to this Baba. Right? So you are not supposed to be playing around with the Supreme Lord. So rather be focused. So today I will recite Vishnu Sahasranama, tomorrow I will recite some other Nama. Why confusion? Rather, be focused and be convinced about one process and follow that all along. So this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we saw how it is specifically given for the Kali Yuga Vasis. And as per the scriptures, people in Kali Yuga are less intelligent. Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagyahi Upadritaha. So we all are misfortunate, we are quarrelsome, so we are always disturbed, our mind is always disturbed. Right? Some of the qualities of the people of this Yuga, Kali Yuga. So we cannot be performing great austerities or tapasya. So if you have to perform tapasya, then you have to go to a forest. These days, there is no place where people are not dwelling. Even if you go to a forest, you will find a Malayali, who is serving a chai. So that's a famous joke. Even if you go to moon planet, you will find a Malayali who is serving a tea. Right? So where do you go? Even in Himalayas, you have people dwelling. So there is no place where you can peacefully reside and do meditation. So, and if you have to perform yajna, which was done in the previous yugas, that is also very difficult. Where do you get a proper brahmana who can perform yajna? These days, the so-called priests who are supposed to be doing yajna for the well-being of the performer, rather they demand money from them. Right? So you give me so many thousands, then I will invite so many brahmanas and I will perform the yajna in an elaborate manner. And if you are constrained financially, then you pay me only this much. I will only invite this many brahmanas. Right? So like that, all these processes. What about temple worship? In Dwapara Yuga, people were performing temple worship. That is very difficult as well. Today we are finding so many big temples which were constructed thousands of years back. Literally, there is no one to take care. Government is coming forward to take care, but they are only interested in acquiring all the properties attached to the temple. Nobody is interested really to serve the Lord. Right? So all these different processes, the meditation or yajna or temple worship, they are practically very difficult in this Kali Yuga. So that's why the Lord mercifully is giving us a simple process by which anybody can advance spiritually. And what is that process? That process is chanting the holy name of Lord Supreme. So that is what Sankaracharya is also saying. There is only one mantra, chanting of his name. And let there be only one work only. What is that work? Service of the Supreme Lord. Again, in Kali Yuga, you can see people are multifolded. Why don't I serve my society? Why don't I serve my nation? Daridra Seva is Narayan Seva. So these are all concocted understanding. Right? So Sankaracharya is clearly saying, you serve the Supreme Lord, that is enough. No need to go and serve many people. Right? So this is what the meaning of this sloka is. We will now try to understand these things in detail. Okay. So, what is the first thing that Sankaracharya is saying? Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam. Only one scripture. That is enough for the age of Kali. What is that scripture? Bhagavad Gita. All along, in the past 6 classes, we have been seeing how Bhagavad Gita is compared to the essence of all Vedic scriptures. Right? So, if you study, internalize, and apply Bhagavad Gita, that is enough. So, it is like somebody has gone on and studied the entire Vedic scriptures. 4 Vedas, 108 Upanishads, 18 Puranas, all the Itihasas and Mahabharats. All the conclusion is written down in Bhagavad Gita. And the next statement of Sankaracharya is that there is only one God, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So, who is saying that? Arjuna himself is saying in Bhagavad Gita. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he is saying, Param Brahma Parandama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. So, Bhagavan Krishna is Param Brahma. All of us are Brahman, or individual soul. Who is that Param Brahma? Bhagavan Krishna. Parandama, he is the supreme abode. We tend to take shelter of each and every one. Right? So we try to take shelter of one God. If we are getting reciprocation, then we are satisfied. If not, then we will reach out to another God. So this is a common practice in India. So you visit any house, you will have big home altar where we will worship all the devatas. Given a choice, we will even hang all the 33 crore devatas picture also. Unfortunately, our house doesn't have that much space, right? So there is no need. Parandama, he is the supreme abode. If you take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, that is enough. He will take care of us. Pavitram, Param Brahma Parandama Pavitram. So he is the all pure personality. There is no contamination in the Supreme Lord. He is not affected by the three modes, Sattva, Rajo, and Tamoguna. He is beyond all these three modes. So these are all elaborately mentioned in various Vedic scriptures, not only in Bhagavad Gita, where the Supreme Lord himself is saying, it is mentioned in various other scriptures as well. Ite chamsa kalapumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. So this is a famous statement coming from Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam lists down all the different incarnations of the Lord, starting from Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narahari, all the different avatars. Right? Who is the origin of all the different avatars? Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the origin of all the other avatars. Now hang on. I have been thinking that Narayana is the origin of all the avatars. Why are you saying that Krishna is the origin? I am not saying. It is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavad. Right? Even Narayana is an expansion of the Supreme Lord Krishna. You may be familiar with the verse coming from Jayadev Goswami, right? Which is famously describing all the Dasavataras. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hari. So the verse goes like that. So clearly saying all the incarnations, Jayadev Goswami is clearly explaining all the different incarnations. At the end of it, he says, Keshavadrita. Who is Keshava? Someone who killed the demon by name Keshi, which is none other than Supreme Lord Krishna. So Jayadev Goswami is saying the origin of all these incarnations is none other than Supreme Lord Keshava or Krishna. Right? So there is only one God, Devaki Putra, Krishna. So you worship that Supreme Lord, then that is enough. Right? So this is a statement which is coming from Sripada Adi Sankaracharya's Gita Mahatmya. Now, why we need to be serving the Supreme Lord? So it is also mentioned by Adi Sankaracharya that no need for you to go and serve each and every devatas. It is enough if you serve the Supreme Lord himself. This is also mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tataiva sarvarhanam achyutejya. So basically, it is just like somebody who is watering the tree. Where would we go and water? Do we go and water all the branches, twigs, leaves, all the fruits, flowers of the plant? Where do we water? If you are intelligent enough, yes, Mataji. Lakshmi Mataji, you were saying
Root.
Root, Prabhuji.
root of the tree, right? So then you are intelligent. And the most important thing is, if you water the root of the tree, then automatically all the other parts of the tree are also nourished, right? There is also one more analogy which is given in the scriptures. Just like when somebody is so hungry, right? So how does he feed himself? Does he take the food and feed his ears? Or does he take and feed his eyes? No, you feed your mouth, and ultimately it is going to reach your stomach, gets digested, and automatically all the other parts of the body get nourishment, isn't it? You will be able to see, you will be able to speak, you'll be able to move your hands and legs. If you starve, if you don't feed your stomach for many days, then you will die eventually. So the Shastra says, just like how feeding your stomach is like feeding all the other parts of the body, similarly, if you feed the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if you render service to Him, if you please Him, then automatically all the other parts of the body or all the other devatas, they are also satisfied. No need for you to go and serve each and every devatas individually. That is not needed. Of course, you may have a liking towards a particular devata and you may want to serve him. There is nothing wrong, which means like you are indirectly serving the Supreme Lord. Right? So that Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita also, how when somebody is worshipping all the devatas, he is indirectly serving himself, the Supreme Lord himself. But if you are intelligent enough, then you are convinced, okay, I serve the Supreme Lord, then automatically all the other devatas are also satisfied. Why I need to individually go and serve them? So that information you get from the Shastras, you get from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is emphatically saying, everything rests on me. Just like how you take a mala, a nice necklace, right? It would be adorned with many jewels and pearls. What is the resting place of all these jewels? You have a nice mala. How do you make that mala out of? What is the main ingredient of that mala?
String.
String. Okay. So that's what Krishna is saying. Matta paradaram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Sutre manigana iva. Mai sarvamidam proktam sutre manigana iva. Just like how all the monies, all the pearls are held on to the string, I am like that string. Everything is resting on me. How much more categorically can Krishna say? So he is clearly saying everything, not just the living entities, all the universes, all the devatas, they all rest on him. Right? So if you look into the creation, scientists have their own theory of creation. Right? So they say that all of a sudden there was a bombardment and everything came into existence. So that is really stupid. How can something come into existence without a creator? So the Supreme Lord is the creator. The expansion of the Supreme Lord Narayana is residing in the causal ocean, right? And from him, from his navel, sprouted a lotus flower, and from that flower came whom? Who is that person who came out of the Lord's navel?
Brahma.
Brahma.
Right? So this is elaborately mentioned in all the scriptures. Brahma came from the navel of the Supreme Lord. You visit any temple any Lord Narayana's temple, you go across the country, you will be able to find that. Right? Especially when the Lord is in his sleeping posture, you go to Srirangam. From his navel, you can clearly see how Lord Brahma came. From Brahma is the actual secondary creator of this universe. The primary creator is the Supreme Lord Vishnu or Krishna. Right? So he is the root of the tree. Brahma may be the creator of this universe. He is creating all the, he's a secondary creator creating all the living entities. But the primary creator is the Supreme Lord Krishna. So that when we understand, then there is no confusion. And there is only one holy name, one mantra. This is mentioned in many places, but I am just quoting here one particular verse from the Purana, one of the Puranas, Brahmanda Purana. Sahasra namnam punyanam trir avritya tu yat phalam ekavritya tu krishnasya namaikam tat prayachati. The pious results derived from chanting the 1,000 holy names of Vishnu 3 times can be attained by only one utterance of the holy name of Krishna. Right? So somebody is reciting 3,000 names of Vishnu. Right? I'm sure many of you in this call would be familiar with the great Vishnu Sahasranama. Who spoke Vishnu Sahasranama? Who is the author of Vishnu Sahasranama?
Bhishma Dev.
Bhishma Pitama.
When he was on the arrow bed, he was praying to the Lord, reciting this Vishnu Sahasranama. 1,000 beautiful names of Lord Vishnu. It would take probably a couple of hours maybe, or maybe 1.5 hours to recite the Vishnu Sahasranama, if you recite it slowly. Right? So just imagine somebody has to recite 3 times Vishnu Sahasranama. How much time it takes? The same thing, the same benefit you can attain merely by uttering one name of Krishna. In Vishnu Sahasranama itself, there is a statement. Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varamani.
Sri Rama Rameti Rame
Rama
Rame
Rama Rameti
Rame Rame
Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama. So 1,000 times name of Vishnu is equal to one name of Lord Rama. 3,000 times name of Lord Vishnu is equal to one name of Lord Krishna. Which means if you do a mathematics, if somebody recites 3 names of Lord Rama, it is equal to reciting one name of Lord Krishna. So that is the power of the holy name of the Supreme Lord. Right? So if you are intelligent enough, you will take to this process of chanting the holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And you will be delivered. Right? And yesterday I was answering to one of the questions that came from a devotee here, right? So who asked why I need to chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Why not any other mantra? Why not Rama first? I was answering that this was given by the Supreme Lord himself. Lord Krishna, he advented in this age of Kali Yuga as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when the Lord comes, he doesn't come alone. He comes along with his associates. Right? In the Krishna Lila, you may be aware that Lord comes, he comes with his consorts, he comes with his elder brother Balram, he also comes with his consorts, Srimati Radharani, Rukmini Devi was there, Satyabhama, so many other associates of the Lord. Similarly, when Lord Krishna decided to come in this age of Kali, he came down as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was called the Golden Avatara. Golden Avatara, because he appeared in a golden complexion. What was the color of Lord Krishna? Appearance of Krishna, how was he appearing?
Rain bearing cloud.
Right. monsoon cloud, you can say, right? Bluish black. So that is the complexion of the Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared in golden complexion. That is why his name was also called as Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Gauranga means golden color. So you go to ISKCON, any ISKCON centers, you will see Lord Gauranga and Lord Nityananda. Nityananda, so this is not the Nityananda whom we know these days, the fraudulent person. So this Nityananda is the Supreme Lord Balaram himself, who came down as Lord Nityananda Prabhu. He was born in a place called Ekachakra, which is few kilometers away from Mayapur. Mayapur is the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born. Somebody was mentioning yesterday that she has visited Mayapur. I think it was Usha Mataji, right? She visited Mayapur once. So Mayapur is the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Ekachakra in Navadvip, that is the place where Nityananda Prabhu was born. They came down and they propagated this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The famous holy names which we are chanting, this was originally given by the Supreme Lord himself, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They went door to door and they were requesting all the people to basically chant this holy name. So this holy name is so powerful because it was given by Lord himself. And some of his associates of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were so engrossed in chanting the holy name that they couldn't actually stop chanting the holy name. Specifically, there was one associate of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was called Haridas Thakur. Originally, he was a Mohammedan. He was a Muslim by birth. But he was so attached to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took up to this process, and daily he used to chant 3 lakh times the name of Lord Krishna. Literally used to take 23 hours. In a given day, he used to chant 23 hours. See how merciful is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You may be coming from any background, but you are freely distributed with this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and you become a topmost devotee. Just like how, though Haridas Thakur was a Mohammedan, but he took up to this process, and he was called as Nama Acharya, the Acharya for the holy name. So such is the power of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu and the holy names which they gave. So this mantra, this holy name of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is enough for somebody to achieve perfection. Right? And subsequently, Adi Sankaracharya was talking about the different processes. What is the process that one need to follow? Just do seva to the Supreme Lord. Just merely do seva to the Supreme Lord. Right? So I was showing the example of watering the root of the tree. That is nothing but rendering service to the Supreme Lord Krishna. Right? What kind of sevas we can do? That may be another question. What do you mean by seva, Prabhu? I am only aware of doing some seva in the temple. No, usually the devotees, they go to the temple, they do some garland seva, they clean the temple. So we know that much. But what other sevas could be possible? So that may be a question coming out. This is also explained clearly in the scriptures. Prahlad Maharaj, you all know Prahlad Maharaj. He is a famous devotee of Lord Narsimadev. Small 5-year-old boy, he had so much of love and devotion for Narsimadev, so much so that when he was in such great trouble, his own father was supposed to be killing him. At that point, the Supreme Lord, as Lord Narsimadev, he broke open from a pillar and came and killed his own father, Prahlad Maharaj's father, and protected him. So that Prahlad Maharaj, he gave the definition or the processes in which we can render service to the Supreme Lord. What are the different processes? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnor, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. There are 9 different processes by which we can render service to the Supreme Lord. What are those 9 different processes? I will just give you an elaboration in small sentences. Shravanam and Kirtanam. So what do you mean by Shravanam?
Hearing, Prabhuji.
Hearing. So you hear to the glories of the Supreme Lord. I am talking about the glories of Krishna. You all are hearing. So that is one way by which you can serve the Supreme Lord. Right? So that is why Shravanam is given an importance. Kirtanam. I am narrating the glories of the Lord. So that is doing Kirtanam. I am chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Nothing. That is nothing but doing Kirtanam. If you go to ISKCON, they will sing some bhajans of the Lord. That is also Kirtanam. So Kirtanam can be in different forms. Right? So any place where somebody is glorifying the Lord, that is nothing but Kirtan. And what else? Smaranam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. So you chant the holy name, you hear about the glory name, then what you do? You keep meditating on the Supreme Lord. Right? So all of us do. Right? So we go to a temple, we visit, say, Tirupati Balaji. Then we come back from the temple, and when we meet somebody, then we will keep talking about that experience, isn't it? Oh, Prabhu, we went to Tirupati Balaji. Darshan was so nice. We got a special darshan. We were there for 20 minutes. Right? So we keep saying all that. However, usually Balaji darshan is always Jalak darshan. You hardly see Balaji for a few seconds. Right? Anyhow, but that few seconds darshan will be etched in your memory for many years. Many of us would have probably visited Balaji for only few times, but still we keep talking or remembering about him. So that is Smaranam. Remembering about the pastimes of the Lord. Oh, Krishna, when he was a child, he was doing all this Leela. So we keep meditating on all that. So that is one of the way in which we can serve the Supreme Lord. And then Pada Sevanam. See here, Lakshmi Devi. She is doing massage to the Lord's lotus feet. What is that? That is called Pada Sevanam. Right? So you take effort, you go to a temple, you visit some Dham, Vrindavan, Mathura. That is also Pada Sevanam. Right? So you are going by your foot. You are traversing, you are doing parikrama. So all these are also Pada Sevanam. What else? So offering Tulasi to Lord Krishna, worshipping the Supreme Lord, right? So that is nothing but Archanam. So you have a small photo of Krishna or a small deity of Lord Krishna at your home. You keep worshipping him. You do Arati, you do Puja. So that is nothing but doing Archana. That is one form of serving the Supreme Lord. Or you visit any temple and the Pujari there, he would be performing many Aratis. You just watch that. That is also like performing Archana. Dasyam, meaning I am a servant of Krishna. See, usually we all have many identities. We are so proud of our identity. Oh, I have studied MBBS. I have studied DGO. Right? So I come from such and such background. My father was an industrialist. My grandfather was so and so. So we all have so many identifications through which we become very proud. But the real proud the real pride that someone should have is when I say that I am a servant of the Supreme Lord. What more can be a more proud statement? Right? Who am I? I am a servant of the Supreme Lord. So that is Dasyam. Hanuman was such a Dasya Bhakta. He would do anything for Lord Rama. He went to the extent of crossing the ocean, even though that was not in his capability, because he wanted to serve Supreme Lord. And how about Sakyam? The best example is Arjun, isn't it? Arjun was a very dear friend of Krishna, so much so that the Lord drove this chariot for Arjuna. Right? So we all have many friends. We do anything for our friends. How about making Krishna as our friend? If we make Krishna as our friend, Krishna will do anything for us. And finally, Atma Nivedanam, complete surrender to Lord Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is making an emphatic statement. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha. Don't worry, don't fear, Arjuna. You leave alone all other dharma. This dharma, that dharma, you leave everything apart. Mam ekam, you surrender only unto me. Then I will give you protection from all your past sinful reactions. Aham tuam sarva papebhyo. All the reactions from your previous janmas, all the papas, I will just take care. So that protection the Lord will give when we do Atma Nivedana, when we do complete surrender. Right? So these are the 9 different processes which are mentioned in the scriptures through which we can able to render service to the Supreme Lord Krishna. Right? So one should not imagine and do things to the Lord. We should always consult the scriptures, take guidance from the scriptures and render service. You know, someone may say that, oh Prabhu, every month I get salary. You know what I do? As soon as I get my salary, I take it out, I put it inside the cover, I keep in front of Lord Krishna's photo, I will do pranam, and then I will carry on with my work every month. That is not rendering service. You are only keeping the salary cover in front of the Lord, but you are using everything inside the cover for your own self. How come that it is called as a service? So that is not surrender which Krishna is expecting. You heartily serve the Supreme Lord. You visit any temple, you buy nice, lavish fruits, offer it to Krishna. So that is called service. And what happens when you do all this, when you render service to Supreme Lord, then the Lord becomes so pleased that he will protect you by all means. He will give protection by all means. There is one wonderful pastime from the scriptures. It is a story of a person by name Ambarish Maharaj. So I can recite that story, but in case any of you know that pastime, you can also tell that story. Anyone in this call aware of that pastime?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I tell this?
Yes.
He was a king and he used all his senses for the service of the Lord. He uses his hands for cleaning the temple. He uses his eyes to see the Lord. He uses his nose to smell the tulasi leaves that has been offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. And he uses his legs to go for going to the temple, and he uses his mind to think of God alone. So he uses all his senses for the service of the Lord. So Savai Manasa Padara some sloga from, I don't know about it, but just it
Savaimanat
start
Krishna
like,
Padami.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, but that is not the end of the story. What is that famous
So
part?
Hare
he
Krishna
was,
Prabhu, may I?
so
May I?
he was
Yeah,
doing Ekadesh.
maybe
He was,
Tamasali Mataji, some other devotee can also continue, if you don't mind. Yeah. Who want to continue that?
May I, Prabhu?
Yeah. Who is that?
This is Avantika, Prabhu.
Yes.
May I?
Yes.
So, as Mataji said, he was a great king and he was a great devotee. So, one day he was keeping this Ekadashi fast, and on that day, Durvasa Muni, he's a great sage, he came to visit the king, and for that, first he has to treat the guest, right, one who comes, the hospitality. So it was time to break the fast. So what Ambrish Maharaj did, he drank water before offering to the sage, and Durvasa Muni got angry, and he was and someone can continue, Prabhu. I told for my satisfaction, someone can
Sure,
continue.
sure, sure. Lata Mataji, you can continue.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Actually, the sage had come for having, he said for prasadam, and he said he will take, he will bathe and he will come. But he goes to bathe and it's taking a long time for him to come. So the time also went for breaking the fast. So he thought just having little water, he might break the fast, and offering prasadam for the Durvasa Muni, he will have. But by the time when he saw Durvasa Muni saw him taking the water, he felt very angry and he started cursing him, or he cursed him. So when he started cursing, Sudarshan Chakra from Lord Vishnu came, and it started protecting him.
No, no. Okay. So you are right until
Sudarshan
this point.
Chakra.
You are right until this point, but
And
how did he curse Ambrish Maharaj? He actually
he
removed.
said that he has
No, he removed a hair
yes,
from
Prabhuji.
his. He removed a hair. He recited a mantra, removed a hair,
Yeah,
and
correct.
threw it, and from
Yes,
that came
yes,
a big
correct.
demon.
Yeah,
From that came a big demon who went and
right.
attacked
Now I remember.
Ambrish Maharaj. Then you can continue.
Yeah, yes. So he just ran, and immediately Sudarshan Chakra from Lord Vishnu, he came and it started protecting him. It started chasing Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa Muni went one place at Brahmaloka,
Sorry,
Shiva Loka, I think,
sorry.
and then he
So,
went back to Vishnu Loka. So
Mataji,
he says,
one correction.
yeah, Prabhuji.
So the Sudarshan Chakra came first. It killed the demon.
Oh, correct.
So then it went to attack Durvasa Muni.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So at the
Then
end,
what?
he says, so Lord Vishnu says, no, I can't do anything. You have to go, and you offended my devotee. So he should forgive you. So he comes back to Ambarish king, and he asks apology to him. He asks apology.
Right.
So this shows that God protects his devotee first. He doesn't mind if we shout at him or something, but if anybody offends his devotee, God gets very wild and he comes and protects.
Right. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very nice. All combined effort you were able to say. Tamil Selvi Mataji, Avantika, and Lata Mataji. Thank you so much. Yeah. So basically, this goes to show how. See, if you compare Durvasa Muni with Ambarish Maharaj was a Grahastha. He was a king in the royal order. He was not a great Pandit. He was not a scholar per se. Whereas Durvasa Muni, he had so much of power. He was famous for his meditation. He was famous for his curses. Right? But here it was where Durvasa Muni, in spite of all his prowess, he couldn't do anything in front of Ambrish Maharaj. And rather, Ambrish Maharaj, just see the mood of a devotee. He did not counter curse Durvasa Muni. He humbly accepted that mistake. Though it was not a mistake actually. He did not break anything. He only drank a drop of water. So that Ekadasi Vrata has to be properly ended. Right? So, but Ambrish Maharaj said, I humbly accept your curse. I am even willing to die. So he was humbly praying to the Supreme Lord, reciting his holy name. He was not even asking for protection. But see what the Supreme Lord did. He says, Lord Vishnu says, oh Durvasa, even I cannot stop my Sudarshan Chakra because I gave a standing order to Sudarshan Chakra. Whenever my devotee is in danger, you don't have to wait for my instruction. You go and protect my devotee. So that was the standing instruction which the Lord gave to Sudarshan Chakra. So even I cannot save you. You better go and fall down at the feet of my devotee. Only he can save you. Then Durvasa Muni, even though he was ashamed, he came in front of Ambarish Maharaj, fell down flat and prayed, begged for forgiveness. So that goes to show what the Supreme Lord can do if we render service to him. That is why it is called devotional service. Bhakti means devotional service. Right? So there is no point in saying, my famous God is Krishna, I love him, I like him, I always worship him. Okay, you love Krishna. What is it that you are doing for Krishna? You start chanting his holy name. So then you can prove to him that you really love Krishna. You start visiting temples. Then you can prove. You start rendering some seva. You are working in a big corporate firm. Why don't you spend a little bit of your income in serving a temple, Krishna's temple? Why don't you feed prasadam to some Vaishnavas? So all these are considered as devotional service. So this is what Sankaracharya is saying, that there is only one person who is the supreme person, right? So I will just go back to this. I'll just share the screen one last time. Right. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gidam. There is only one scripture, Bhagavad Gita. You attain perfection by reading that. There is only one Devo whom you can worship, Krishna. There is only one prayer, chanting of the holy name, and one service, which is to serve the Supreme Lord. You follow these four recommendations coming from Sankaracharya, then your life will be perfect. There is no confusion at all. Right? So this is the conclusive statement of Sripad Sankaracharya coming down from his Gita Mahatmya verses. This is just a glimpse into Bhagavad Gita. I have not even touched Bhagavad Gita. I have only spoken about little statements being mentioned in Bhagavad Gita here and there, but I have not dealt with Bhagavad Gita so far. This is just like I have given you a honey bottle, and you also know where the lid of the bottle is. It is up to us to open the lid and start licking the honey, which means you need to open Bhagavad Gita, study, and practice it. So we are also going to have upcoming sessions. We will keep you intimated in this group. We will also try to understand Bhagavad Gita in the upcoming sessions. Right? So Gita Mahatmya is just talking about the glories of Bhagavad Gita. Because before reading any book, you need to understand, there will be a preface given, right? Where somebody would say, oh, this book is so nice. It talks about such and such things. Like that, Sankaracharya has given a preface to Bhagavad Gita. Now we need to really study Bhagavad Gita under proper guidance and understand it. Right. So with that, I will stop here. There will also be an MCQ quiz. It will be sent as a Google form, Google Sheet. You need to fill out your proper email address without any mistake. And you need to score 50% of marks in that MCQ quiz. It will be very easy. Nothing outside of what we learned in these sessions. So if you can score more than 50%, and if you have attended all the sessions, whether it is live session or recorded session, it's fine. Then you are eligible for an e-certificate. So that e-certificate will be sent to your email address. So any question from today's session?
Prabhuji, yesterday's recorded session was not put up in the group.
Yes, I am going to send that. Today I got a little bit held up.
Okay, okay, Prabhuji.
I have the recording available, so I will upload it and send it.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Vishwesh. Any question?
I don't have a question, but I just have a comment. It's very, very useful to know what you really mean by service to the God.
Right.
So I was very happy when you discussed that and gave us the various methods.
Right.
And they're all basically very simple, and that's what we need to do.
Right.
So I felt it was a very big learning personally for me.
Thank you. Thanks for that comment, Vishwesh. Hare Krishna. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Just a small query, Prabhuji. This shloka, Ekam Sastram Devaki Putra Geetam, this can be recited every day before chanting, Prabhuji?
Before chanting?
Yeah. Can
Yeah,
we
why not?
chant? Yeah, I mean, it gives solace, so can we chant every day before chanting, isn't it?
Why only
Prabhuji,
before? Why only before chanting? At any point of time, you can recite this.
Okay, Prabhuji.
These are
And
only
one more
talking
query,
about
Prabhuji.
the glories of Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji. One more thing is, Prabhuji, as I reside in North India, so we have certain restrictions regarding offering tulsi to Krishna. So, what is it according to ISKCON? Can we pluck leaves except Ekadasi and some other days like Tuesdays and Fridays? Can we pluck tulsi and offer to Krishna? And watering tulsi, Prabhuji. Because there is so many diverse thoughts about it, Prabhuji. Because there they say that you should not plug on Sunday, something, so much of confusion.
Friday.
So what is the right way to offer water and plug tulsi?
So watering tulasi you can do anytime before noon, meaning when the sun is rising, you can actually water the tulasi because that's when she is going to get all the energy.
Okay.
As far as plucking tulasi leaves is concerned, you should not pluck the tulasi leaf on Dwadasi day. Because it is a.
It is not clear, Prabhuji. When, Prabhuji, I don't hear you.
Yeah, I will just put you
When
on
we
mute.
should not pluck?
I just put you on mute because there is a background noise. I was saying that you cannot pluck tulasi on Dwadasi day, which is the day after Ekadasi, because it is mentioned that on Ekadasi, Tulasi being a devotee of Lord Krishna, she is also fasting. Right? So the next day is when she is going to break the fast, so you are not supposed to pluck the Tulasi leaves. Other than that, on any other day, you are allowed to pluck Tulasi.
Prabhuji, one more query, Prabhuji. Yes, it is clear, Prabhuji. And Tulsi, that is, I just wanted to ask that whether Tulsi can be, as you said, that you can just pluck it any other day. And what about the watering of Tulsi? Every day it can be done, isn't it, Prabhuji?
Every day you should
Watering
water.
the Tulsi.
You should water.
Yes. That I do, but there they say Sundays you can do, you cannot do, and all this. That's why. Yes.
So
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
So that's why any practices we follow, it should be backed by proper authority. So people can think what is the scriptural.
Okay, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Next, any other devotees? I see Jai Shri Krish connection is unmuted. You have any question, Mataji?
No, Tulsi, we cannot pluck on Fridays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Purnamis.
Where is it mentioned?
Because Friday is devoted to goddesses Lakshmi.
Yeah, so that is our concoction. It is not mentioned anywhere in the scriptures. One thing which is clearly said is on Dwadasi we are not allowed to pluck. Other days we can do that. We can pluck Tulsi.
Prabhuji, one more query. We should have a different plant to pluck tulsi and watering the one tulsi plant. Is it something like that, or the same plant we can pluck? No, Prabhuji.
So
We should have different plant for prasadam and all when we offer. We place tulsi, so that should be a different plant, isn't it?
Right. So usually when devotees we worship Tulasi, we do arati, and all these things you can learn as we traverse in this spiritual progress. So you worship Tulasi, you basically water Tulasi, so that you can have a separate pot with Tulsi. Beyond that, if you have space in your house, you can always plant many Tulasi plants, and you can pluck the Tulasi from the other plants. Usually the ones which we worship, we don't pluck.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Because myself and my spouse, Prabhuji, have a tussle. That's the thing I wanted to get it clarified. Because I have a different plant for watering and a different plant for plucking. So,
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other queries? Okay, so yes.
Prabhuji, I just want to say
Yeah.
gratitude, 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 and thank you very much. It was very insightful and a lot of wisdom. I just, as you are showing these slides, I'm just having the Bhagavad Gita as it is in front of me.
Jai, super.
And it is just one page today. In the 7 days, you have just mentioned one page of it.
Right.
So it is the page 30 for the others who have the book. Just look at the page 30. That is what we have learned in 7 days. There is many to go, and we look forward for that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So usually in ISKCON, we have crash courses for Bhagavad Gita. We can also have elaborate courses where we discuss Bhagavad Gita chapters. Say one chapter can run into even 1 month also. So that much depth is there in Bhagavad Gita. Though only 700 slokas, but each sloka has been explained by many acharyas, be it from Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya. So all these compositions are available, and Prabhupada has given a mix of everything from different acharyas. So there are many things to be learned and understood. Prabhupada himself said he used to read his own book daily. His disciples were inquiring. So this is quite new because somebody who has authored a book doesn't read his own book. So then Prabhupada said, every time I read Bhagavad Gita, I get new realizations. And whatever I wrote, it was dictated by the Supreme Lord. I am not the one who wrote Bhagavad Gita. So he never took credit for his work. Rather, he humbly and submissively read his own book. So definitely, this is just a beginning, tip of the iceberg. So there is a lot more to be learned from Bhagavad Gita.
Can we visit Hare Rama Hare Krishna temple and libraries? Can we sit and read there? Is there any facility?
So there are no libraries as such in ISKCON, as far as I know, Mataji. But in Vrindavan and in Mayapur, there are libraries. But in other ISKCON centers, we don't have libraries, as far as I know. But these books are also available in many of the prominent libraries as well, I'm sure. But in ISKCON, we don't have a library per se. Right? But after all, see, these are investment for our future. So we spend for many other things materially. So we can even spend for Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. There are devotees who even give Sastra Dhan. They donate Bhagavad Gitas or Bhagavatam to other people who cannot afford. So that also happens. So it is good to spend for the Lord. So if any of you want Bhagavad Gita as it is copies in any of the languages, please let me know. I am there on WhatsApp. You can directly ping me. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you all. I will post the recordings. I will also follow up with the MCQ thing, and yeah, and then you will get your e-certificate soon. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Oh, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.